All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Potato Head Theater. Today's story is found in 1 Kings, chapter 17, verse 7 through 16. Last time we left Elijah, he was in a pretty cool spot. God had sent ravens to bring him food. Elijah also had plenty of water to drink because he was beside the brook. However, you might remember the warning that Elijah had given to King Ahab. It won't rain. What happens when it doesn't rain? Rivers dry up. And this is exactly what had happened to the brook where Elijah was.
Look at this! I used to have a brook that I could drink all the water I wanted, and now it's gone. It's gone! Yeah!
Elijah was back on that roller coaster. He went from the high of being beside the flowing river to the low of being beside a dry riverbed.
It's so dry. Water! Water! I need water!
So God spoke to Elijah, "Go and live in the village of Zarephath. There is a widow who will feed you there."
Zarephath? What good is Zarephath? But God, I guess since you're telling me to go, I will go.
So Elijah traveled to the village of Zarephath.
Da, 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 da.
When he arrived, he saw a widow gathering sticks.
Just gathering some sticks. I'm a widow, which means my husband is dead and I can't work and my son's too young to work, and so all I can do is just gather sticks and hope to survive.
He asked her, "Can you bring me a cup of water and some bread to eat?"
Excuse me, ma'am. Could you please give me some water and bring me something to eat? What?
The woman replied, "I don't have a single piece of bread in my house."
I don't have any bread in my house. I barely have any water. Why would you ask me such a crazy question?
She told him, "I only have a handful of flour and a small amount of cooking oil. I was about to cook this last meal, and then my son and I would die.
All I have left is some flour and some oil, and I was gonna cook my last meal. I wanted a nice kosher last meal of gefilte fish and lox and bagels and some matzo balls, but no! All I got is some bread flour and some bread, and this is gonna be it, and then me and Junior over here are gonna die.
Elijah said to her, "Don't be afraid. Make a cake for me, then make something for you and your son. God will provide."
Don't be afraid. All you gotta do is make some bread and give some to me, and then God will provide everything you need.
Can you imagine what the widow must have thought?
I can. This dude's crazy.
Here she was about to make a small meal for her son and herself. Now this prophet comes along and says, "Make me a cake first."
Do I look like a baker's man to you? Patty cake, baker's man? I am not.
But the widow did just as Elijah had asked.
I guess I'll go make some cake and see if I could give you some of it. Move, Junior.
She gave Elijah the cake to eat. Then she went back to the flour and cooking oil containers. And do you know what she found? She found even more cooking oil and flour.
What? Here's your cake, but there's still stuff in there. There's just as much in there as there was before. What did you do?
She made a meal for herself and her son, and not only did she make one meal, but every time she went back to the flour and cooking oil containers, there was even more.
This is amazing. I got so much flour and oil, it just keeps going. I think I'm gonna start my own bread shop, call it Intamins.
God had provided a miracle. God continued to provide all the flour and cooking oil she needed for her son and herself.
See, I told you God would provide.
All right, thank you for joining us on another episode of Potato Head Theater.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.